Listen close. Welcome to the Rummor Room. Welcome to the Rummor Room. Welcome to the Welcome to the Rummor Room. Welcome to the envious. So what you gonna do?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rummor Room. Oh my gosh, I am so lucky. I'm the luckiest girl alive because I get to have a second guest, which is a big deal, and to start this new journey with one of my favorite humans. And she knows this because I tell her all the time, Yolanda Rosengarten. And I don't know if the Spanglish said it right or not, but I call her Yola. Yolanda. Yolanda. Yoo-hoo. How are you? Welcome.
Thank you. I'm great. Thank you for having me. How exciting.
I am your host, Leticia Kirkwood, from the Rummor Room. I am so excited and delighted to just have a second opportunity at chatting it up with some real professionals in the industry. Yolanda is sitting down with me, and she is someone who's built an amazing career behind a chair. She's also it's in the education sector, in the leadership sector, brand development, and now she's serving as a senior sales director for Keratin Complex. That is a big deal, my lady. She's helped shape a lot of brands throughout her career. She has elevated salons with her support. And most importantly, she understands what it takes to succeed in the industry. She takes it very serious. She's a very, what I say, I mean, kind of girl, and she's there to support everybody in whatever sector, if whether it's in the education, salon ownership, as a stylist, as a brand developer. She is legit, and I am very proud and honored to have met her. She supported my school when I owned the school. I have been loyal to Keratin Complex since 2007, and she had my back from the day that I say I am switching. I'm not getting what I want from this other brand. Keratin Complex, Yolanda, what do you have? And she laid out a red carpet for me and my students. Support was insane. She gave me everything that I needed to make sure that my students could excel in-house education, online education, collateral support, open house events, because I wanted my students to understand the need to be able to have open house events and support a brand so a brand can support you, which brings us kind of to the topic and why we're having this conversation today. Anyways, welcome to the Rummor Room. Tell me about you, Yolanda. Come on.
All right. Well, thank you for that introduction. That was flattering. Thank you so much. I appreciate
It's
it.
honest.
Yeah, thank you. Been in the industry now 30 years. Started off as a hairstylist, so really worked behind the chair for a short time, just 4 years. But at that point, I realized I still wanted to stay in the beauty industry, if that makes sense. Um, and that I wanted a more consistent paycheck, right? When you first get out of beauty school, I did do nails, did do hair. And with that being said, some weeks you had a very strong week and you had a really nice paycheck, and other weeks, so looking toward a career that I still wanted to stay in the beauty industry, but also take a little adventure into a different platform. So I hate to date myself, but back, in the late 90s, early 2000s, you were still looking in a newspaper for a
Yes.
job, right? So
Yes. Oh my
with that
gosh.
being
I forgot
said,
about that. Yep.
yeah, isn't that insane? Like you don't even
Newspaper.
yeah, they're almost don't even exist anymore. So
Yeah.
with that being said, I found a position at a beauty supply store. And that's really where it transitioned into the direction where I'm at today. So it started off working for a distributor and selling products. So I did that over a course of 10 years and worked my way into management. And after the 10-year mark, there was back in 2007, Keratin Complex, the brand that I'm representing, launched. And in 2010, I did have top sales with the distributor that I worked for, Keratin Complex, the brand. So I did make that transition over into manufacturing in 2010. So it's definitely been a journey. I've met so many fun, interesting people, love being able to support salons. I really am proud to say where I'm at today, from where I started as a hairstylist all the way to the other side of manufacturing as a senior sales director. Definitely a lot of growth. And like I said, meeting amazing people like you, salon owners, school owners, definitely has been rewarding, especially when I can, convey the message of how that stylist and salon owner can make more money and
Mm-hmm.
still, right? It's all about a better quality of life. If I can show someone how to make more money, and when I say better quality of life, what does that look like, right? For that individual, is it less time at the salon, but making more money so they can spend more time with family, right?
Yeah,
Would you agree?
often it's a great thing that you're like breaking it down like that in tiny pieces, because often people believe that the only way you can make it in the industry is working behind the chair, and that it's not it. You have
No.
built an insane career by just diversifying, going into sales, education, and expanding and evolving within the career still, very much so, but at a different in a different way. You were searching for more stability and growth and advancement beyond behind the chair. That's not taken away, because I did 30 something years behind the chair. But if I would have had someone that I would have met like you, I would have been like, I could do what? And I could be who? I mean, I would have, but I didn't have that mentorship, which is the reason why the Rummor Room kind of is something that I'm so passionate about, because we can shed light in different areas of the industry that can elevate someone's career and can allow them more stability financially, or more freedom on time, or like you said, quality of life, which is different for everybody, right? But yes, I love that. Keep
Yeah.
telling me, keep telling us.
So yeah, it was very rewarding that I can help a stylist, I can help a salon owner become successful with the brand that I represent, right? Making more money, giving that client beautiful hair, right? Because we're in the beauty industry. It's about making everyone feel important, feel heard, and make them, beautiful, right? Because that's really what it comes down to. So it's very rewarding through the years, helping have stylists become more successful, schools and salons as well. So it brings me to now 2026 and still have the opportunity to get out there, be in the field, work with distributors, work with stylists, work with educators, meet so many amazing people, and really keep getting that message out with that beautiful hair and making more money. So that really rounds it out from starting. Still, I'm a licensed stylist, still keep my license up, but made that transition from doing hair and nails over to the sales side of things. I love doing both. My passion is with educating and sales for sure, 100%.
Yeah, I like the way that you have always coordinated, or the way that you coordinated our in-person education and our online education. Like you have a clear understanding. Like I remember, um, and this is kind of like why I was searching for, you know, owning a hair salon is one thing, owning a cosmetology school is legit completely different. And I don't care what nobody says. That was my experience. When I started visiting the clinical floor from being the director in my office, not really knowing exactly the day to day, when I started visiting the clinical floor and I started realizing that the students were not producing top quality product when it came to a finished product because they didn't have the tools to create that. So I can tell you until I turn blue how to polish hair and yada yada, right? But if you don't have the tools to support that, meaning you don't have the hair product to support that, you don't have the hair tools to support that, your chances are going to be kind of not, I'm not setting you up for success. So when I brought up to you, hey, Yolanda, this is what I need. I need my students to have top quality, hot tools, and I want them to get familiarized with products so they understand that if they're using it, they know what it's going to be doing to the client. So when they're servicing the client, they know that there's a standard, right? So if I give you bottom line products and tools, you don't really know how to go from there. But if I give you top of the line products and tools to get started, luxury bougie stuff, right? Professional stuff, you're going to set yourself up for success going forward because you're never going to look down because you don't know. You just don't know. That's a level that is unknown for you. And I asked you, hey, Yolanda, I need a student kit that is going to give me the blow dryers. It's going to give me the brushes. It's going to give me the hot tools, the flat irons that is going to give me the styling products, the shampoos, the conditioner, the styling products, so my students can understand the quality. You created something special for me, and you created a beautiful student kit for me. There was always a celebration for me too. I was like a toddler every single time that we enrolled the class because when my students will open their keratin complex hot pink bags with the tissue paper and all this beautiful stuff, and they got to use it and apply it and finish it. What did you witness our students were doing? What kind of work were they doing?
Amazing. Just the amount of talent that you had at the schools. It's really about supporting that school as you, a school owner, and really aligning and make sure the communications there being completely transparent. Here at Keratin Complex, we love to be able to support that 360 degree, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's not just about selling it in to you, right? We have to support you and what are
Yep.
your needs. So it's the marketing end of it to help market those students and that market that client walking through the door and the brand itself. It's the education, right? It's the education. There's many ways to get education, but the education that when we came out, we really rolled out the red carpet to make sure with that hands-on, right? And
Hands on.
the students have to feel comfortable. You're already using that elevated brand, right? That luxury brand with making that client have beautiful hair every day, right? And so the luxury brand, the education, you mentioned about that support when it came to student kits, right? So it's really about communicating with that owner, lay out the expectations, right? Which you did, and then what I could support you with as the brand, right? And to make it
Mm-hmm.
100% and make it successful, to have those in school events going on, those
Right. We
incentives.
did those and we're a hit every single time.
And when I talk about education, it's just not one time a year, right? So it's whether it's in person and then we support it quarterly. So we
Yep.
did two in-person education 2-day events coming out
Mm-hmm.
twice a year
Yes,
on
ma'am.
quarters. We still supported with virtual education, and then we still had touch points, right? How is this enrollment kit working? How is the success of the graduation kit working, right? So we could tweak these little things, and holidays would come and we would do incentives as well as we would put together promotions for
Mm-hmm.
your clientele. So it's really aligning both the owner and with the brand and making sure to follow through of that support, right? So
Yes.
like you said, I say what I mean and I mean what I say. So
100% correct. I
it
remember,
goes.
like, there was not one single time, Yolanda, that I did not reach out to you and say, Yolanda, I need help. I'm trying to create this competition within the students so they can get motivated. To do more hair and or to just produce more service and upsell. I remember that was kind of the goal. I wanted to teach them how to upsell because that's huge, the service that they don't understand sales as such a powerful tool for them. And I would ask Yolanda, I need help with incentives. I need tools so I can like give them a couple of hot tools and a couple of brushes. And you're like, it's on its way. Never. I mean, like, if people would understand that reaching out and partnering up with a brand that really truly gets it is so valuable. And the students understanding that sales and upselling literally is an 80/20 out of your life, it would be such a gosh, like the brands will support salons more, support schools more, support it is a back and forth, it's a give and take. I think it's so powerful and important to just like teach at a level that not only as a salon owner with your stylist, you got to learn the brand, but also in the school, it starts the foundation at the school to teach students how to upsell and how to sell and how to have open house with what you have. Not just your hands, but with the tools that are provided for you and with the supports from the brand. Utilize it. It's not being utilized properly. Would you agree?
Oh, totally agree. And with that being said, with the just with the amount of experience and the amount of, I would say, touring, I can say touring, right? Because I traveled across the United States in salons. I could bring things to you and ideas that worked in schools that I've partnered with or the brand is partnered with, or I could bring you ideas that have worked and are really successful from salons across North America to partner and bring the success to you with those ideas. But yes, you definitely truly have to um, do the follow through,
You
right?
have
Do the
to follow
follow,
through. Hmm.
yeah, and pay close attention. Don't take your eye off the prize, right? Really stay on, like you owned a beauty school, stay on those students, right? And make sure that the success is lining up through the months before graduation, right? And setting up for success even at graduation. So,
Yeah.
yes, it's a
Beyond.
very
Yeah.
important, very important.
I tell you a little story. So back in the 1800s, more like the 2007, I remember, oh my God, the premiere show. I lived in Orlando, in Vero Beach, Florida, and which is like about 2 hours from Orlando. And the premiere show, I was going to go to the premiere show and I was going to go to the premiere show. I was a single mom of two little kids and I really did not have money to go to the premiere show, but I was going to go to the premiere show. And I'm so thankful that I went. I remember taking some money from my light bill and pocketing it in and heading over to Orlando. I stayed in International Drive in a raggedy hotel, and I went to the premiere show, and I was like a child, looking at all these amazing performances and stages and brands and yada yada yada. And then I make it towards like the end of this hallway, um, and there's this big party going on. And I believe that was the launch of Keratin Complex. And there's like people, it was like honey, and then there are bees, like humans were like all over this like area. And I'm like, what is going on? What's going on? What's going on? So then I found this young woman there and I asked her, what is this? And she's kind of telling me. And then I woke up to and I tried to befriend her because, I got quick smart. I walked up to the stage and I sit down and I'm watching this like happen before my eyes. Like, oh my gosh. Like it was like watching Jesus healing Lazarus. That's how it was. And I always make that reference because it was like, and I don't want nobody to get offended by this because I'm sure that I'm gonna get judged by it. But literally, it was like if God had a flat iron and He was just healing the hair as every pass. Like that was my thinking then, right? And that has stuck to me. it was impressive to watch the quality of that product, of that keratin. I have never experienced anything like that. You know, I have very big curly hair, and I always want to be some shade of blonde. And I will always destroy my hair over and over again until I get to the shade of blonde. It is what it is. So that was no difference, right? I lived in Florida, humidity 100%. I lived on the east coast of Florida, which is the beach, which was 120% of humidity. And when I woke up and I saw this, I went back to that young lady that I had kind of made friends with, and I asked her, "Can I be a model? Can I be a model?" She goes and finds out, and she's like, "We don't we have all the models that we need." We're like, "No, I need to be a model," because no one was going to believe me going back to my small town to just tell them what I just witnessed. I have to have it on my hair so people can believe me. And I was willing to put money or whatever it took so that could happen. And I went on stage. The guy parted my hair in half. He's combing my hair, and he leans over, he's like, "Girl, your hair's falling apart." Indeed. And I had a black cape, and people started sitting there. People started sitting down, and my hair was like Tina Turner, like out here. And he started flat ironing half of my hair. And it was like people's mouth were shocked because I believe I was the most dramatic correction or healing, however, therapy, whatever you call that. People started leaving the seats of the stage, and they went straight to the counter. When I was done, I went to the counter and I used my light bill money. Remember, I'm a single mom of two little kids. Back in the 1800s, shit was rough. Okay. And I went and I bought a flat iron, and I bought an NKST, and the clarifying shampoo, and I took my butt back to Vero Beach, and I had never stopped making hundreds and hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars with Keratin Complex since then, period. That's just has been it. So my loyalty goes down. No, again, Keratin Complex ain't paying me for this. Again, I'm not saying this because it's Yolanda and she's my friend now. No, it's because it's the truth. It's the elevated product. It's a great brand, and you can make a lot of money. So if the students could understand, if the salon owners could understand, if the stylists could understand that finding a product that it's going to speak to you and is going to elevate your skills that you already possess, because everybody has their own skills and their own strengths, and utilize this, it will be phenomenal. I'm like, why is this like asking me to upgrade? Anyways, so I wanted to share that with you, because I don't know that I have ever told you in details how I was introduced with the brand. It's truly, I was like, I don't got money to pay for this light bill, but I'm
Yeah.
going to just go back home and I'm going to make this money. And I did. And I did.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it was definitely, no, it was definitely a game changer, right? So even though I stepped away from behind the chair after 4 years, once working for a distributor, I was able to work part-time. So I did work Wednesday evenings and every Saturday. So when smoothing treatments launched, right, we were the first keratin smoothing treatment in the US back in '07. Nobody knew what that was. Everyone
No.
was used to straighteners. They were used to relaxers. It was
Uh-huh.
hard for people to wrap their head around, like, what? The hair is going to defrizz, reduce some curl, but eventually come back. No line of
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
demarcation. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely it was huge game changer because of those clients that were trying to transition or maybe didn't want that line of demarcation, right? Everyone was into straight hair back then, but the only way to achieve that was, right, either flat ironing on a daily or you're going to use a chemical service. So this really brought huge attention to and a game changer in the beauty industry. And NKST being that it's our OG, it's our award winner. It is a huge game changer. And for those clients, when I say it's life changing, just like you said, the healing power of it, right? It's not just about smooth health, it's about healthy hair too. So not just defrizzing, not just reducing some curl, it's about healthy hair. And I think we all forget about that. You brought that up. And since '07 for 19 years, it's about healthy hair. So again,
Mm-hmm.
definitely a game changer. Things have evolved in the industry, right? How did
Mhm.
you really market it, right? So I was behind the chair just, 8, maybe 15 hours a week, and to focus on my clients and to show them, it was very, very hard for them to understand and wrap their head around it. But like I said, just having that consultation and talking to them about it, and taking that chance, right? Building your clientele, it hugely blew up, right? So
It
it
did.
wasn't a fad because it's still on trend, right? Definitely a huge game changer and life changing.
It was for me, for sure. And I'm sure people that can remember that era that are in my age group will be like, yeah, or maybe there might be somebody here that remembers that day, 2007, on that stage and everything else that was happening, because it was really happening. Now, I want to go over really quickly, and then we're going to make a pause because we have about 5 minutes. Um, Salon owners that bring a brand and don't enforce or encourage proper education, what are they doing to themselves?
I feel the best success would be to offer as much education, right? Just in general, as a stylist, if you can bring, as a salon owner or even an independent stylist or even a stylist that's employed in a commission salon, if you can bring to yourself as much education for yourself or your staff, whatever that may be, education is success, right?
Right.
Education is success, not just in the beauty industry, but every industry. So it's power, right? It's knowledge, it's confidence, right? On that brand, it's builds confidence with that stylist, be able to talk more, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we haven't even touched on it, but the
Yeah.
more confidence you have, the better and stronger you're going to be with your
Yeah.
consultation and your
Yeah.
follow through, from the minute the guest walks through the door of the salon to the minute they leave the salon,
Yeah.
right? The more education. I'm talking with your skill. I'm talking, about success with selling, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about just
Exactly.
in general. So the psychology of it, the selling of it, the
Product
education.
knowledge for
Mhm.
clients. There's clients that don't have that ability. There's some people that are really savvy, and now with social media, there's a lot of information out there, so people kind of get educated easier. But still, I feel like it's your responsibility as a
I do.
professional
I do.
to educate your client and make them recommendations that is going to make their hair better, especially people that like to switch back and forth. Like the minute that it gets cold and gloomy, I want to just dark hair. The minute that the sunshine comes out, I want to be blonde again. Can I do that? Not really. If I didn't have keratin complex, you think I can have the short bob if I didn't have keratin complex? No, I look like no. So like, if you don't have that education and that knowledge, so you can recommend your clients so their hair can be, what is that? What is the phrase? Beautiful all the time, right?
Mhm. Beautiful hair every day. Yeah.
Exactly. Then what are we doing? We have to. And not only that, but I feel, and you maybe agree with me or not, that a lot of salon owners bring in a bunch of hairlines in their salon. But are they all educated on the brands? And is that probably a hindrance on why sometimes it doesn't move as it should move off the shelves?
My observation as a stylist and being able to travel to so many places, I feel that, and I can't speak for every stylist, owner, or salon, but my
Correct.
observation is sometimes salons will pick and choose, right? Because they
Mm,
don't want to lose that retail sale. They're accommodating to every single guest walking through. Maybe I'll have a hairspray of this brand. Maybe I will have a gel from this brand. Maybe I'll have a setting spray or a thermoprotect. So um, I feel that when partnering full brand, it shows that you stand behind a brand and the amount of support that's there with that brand, right? You align together. We talked about education. There's ways to receive free education with, the brand I represent. So just taking advantage of that. And the cool thing about it, you can customize. So not that I'm getting off track, I feel that focusing on one brand, I'm not saying that a salon should have one brand, right? A lot of salons out there have three, and some may have a few bit more, but you want to talk about, your different levels of retail pricing, right? To accommodate to that client. Then that client feels like, you stand behind a brand and you're confident with the brand.
Mm-hmm.
And you could probably agree with me, right? I don't know, through the years of you
I had to.
taking your light money to invest into a company, and you believed in that it's going to generate more service revenue for you, right?
Yeah.
So you believed in that. It shows that you believe in a brand, you're committed to a brand, you've partnered with a brand, and you're setting your whole staff up for success. So
Mhm.
just there's great benefits to representing full line, if that makes sense, right?
I believe that teaching, or not just as, because I can speak of that because I also owned a salon for 17 years since Florida. Having one or two brands, or being branded from A to Z with a brand that carries everything, it's truly that loyalty and that commitment mutual, from the brand to me, and me to the brand to the client, right? That's just what I believe that should be. But that's also my opinion, and I'm also old, so I I come from a different school in my mind, right? On the way that I believe that we should have exclusivity, and that we should have those solid partnerships, and that relationship, and that rapport, and that's what it should be. Grow with the brand, grow with, like all the faces of Keratin Complex. Keratin Complex has evolved in many different ways. So I don't know. That's just what I believe. But everybody's going to run their business how they want to, and they're going to do what they want. My goal is to shed light on, listen, let's just make sure that we're educating our staff, so we can have a strong ecosystem where I support you, you support me, we support the client supports back the salon, and now we are all kind of making more profitable business. So we were talking in regards to brand partnership, the evolution of brand partnership. I'm old. To me, makes sense to just have a line, know your line, have the support from your sales rep, your education department, and hone in. With that being said, that's my opinion, right? Every salon's going to be different. Everybody's going to do whatever they want to do, whatever works for them in the area and stuff like that. So having multiple lines, at some point, I did that. But salon owners also understanding that it's a chain, right? Cosmetology schools have to understand too that it's a chain. And I can only speak for me and what I did, what I thought made sense, because I wanted to make my students to be employable and be an asset for a salon owner immediately. We have to partake. We have to participate with the brand. It can't just be the brand as a sales representative coming in and just trying to shove product through your nose and make you buy it. It can't be that. That's not what the success is. Or it can be, oh my God, it smells good, and I'm just going to put it on my shelf and just hope that it sells because somebody else liked the smell. It can't be that. It has to be a perfect ecosystem, a chain link between the brand, the salon rep, the salon owner, the stylist. But it goes further. It has to go from the cosmetology school, educating students in regards to partnering, branding, elevating to a high standard, so like that when you graduate, you already know that you can go into this salon and now be receptive to the education that the salon is going to give you about this brand. you'll be able to convey flow nicely and help your client and educate them so they can take care of it at home, upsell, and then the support comes from the brand. Because if I'm making you a lot of money for the brand, right? The brand is like, oh man, this is nice. Oh, I'm also as a salon owner, like, oh man, this is nice. And then the stylist is like, oh man, this is nice. And then the client is like, dang, I look good. It's what it is.
Yeah,
But don't you agree with that?
I agree. And, talking about partnering, aligning with one brand, like to go back, yes, I'm older. That's my opinion too. Perceptions, reality, and success looks different
For
in
everybody.
everyone's lens. So by aligning, and you said successful, buying more product, buying more treatments was success for you. In turn, like I mentioned earlier, that 360 support, we also partner our brand, the brand I work for, I should say our brand, Keratin Complex. We build back rewards and support. So for dollars spent, right, can provide
Mhm.
you with a back bar and things like that to support a salon or a school. So there's a lot of perks with going full brand, right? And just the stability all around. And like you said, it does start in the infancy of that education before becoming licensed, right? I can speak on the behalf of what I experienced in the
Same.
90s when I went to school, beauty school, and I feel that each state's different with the amount of hours, but there's so much packed in a short period of time. And so I feel expanding those hours
That's a
into,
whole topic, Yolanda. Don't open that can of
right,
worms.
right. So it does start, like you said, back from the education, then graduating, and then getting into a salon, and then building your career, right? And
Mhm.
knowledge is power, right? That's going to set you up with the education, and the education with your skills in salon too, right? Because you just know a little bit getting out, and then education with the products to become successful. So it's a full circle, right? From
It
not
really
just
is.
education, it's also the marketing, it's the selling portion of it, and the support goes hand in hand.
I want to put this in parentheses like this because we can't start this topic because I have a lot to say about it, and that's like we
That'll
don't
be
have
for our
time.
next
No, no,
next
no, no,
segment.
no, no, no. Right here. We keep reducing the hours to teach. We have to be better. We have to be better. It is, I don't know how schools are doing it with 1,000 hours. I just don't understand. Period, point blank. Because I thought 1,500 wasn't enough for what I wanted to give. It just isn't. And I think that what we're causing is crippling the students that are graduating. I'm going to call it the youth. Not everybody that goes to cosmetology school is a bad, but we are crippling the industry by not having enough hours to educate them accordingly, by not giving them this is sales, this is upsells, this is branding, this is marketing. This is a whole nother aspect of your license that you must know. It's okay. I'm staying right here. Don't let me out. Don't let me out, Yolanda. But yes, because now we have this. Now it becomes the salon owners' duty to just feed you knowledge, which is fine. But as a salon owner, that becomes expensive as well because not all the brands. I don't know. I can only speak for what I know. Sorry, but not all brands deliver such an incredible amount of support, collateral, and education, like the brand does, like Keratin Complex does. Not a lot of them do. So then that means that I have to figure out how to bring in education and support for my stylists, and then I can just kind of help my stylists become what they are meant to be, so they can fully utilize their licensing and actually have a successful, thriving career, not just doing hair, but also that 80/20, which is selling, right?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I can speak on stepping out of the manufacturing side of things and speaking on behalf of myself as a stylist and going to beauty school. There's a lot of things that I wish would have taken place for the school that I went to, right? Just a little bit
Mm-hmm.
um, time, even though going to the school where I attended, we did have a separate psychology class, we did have a separate communications course, but it's really just a little tip of the iceberg when it comes to those two topics.
Business. Mm-hmm. They gotta
And
know.
and moving forward now, fast forward, a lot of it, you can still build a clientele because there wasn't social media when I was out and about. And I've only experienced worked as employees at two salons, right? So you were still able to build a huge set, solid clientele without marketing. But, like I mentioned earlier in past conversations, the beauty industry hasn't changed. It's everything inside the beauty industry that has
Yes, you
changed.
said that
So
in our meeting that we had last week, that is and I didn't it's hard for me to see every angle. I don't know everything. I mean, let's start for the fact that for the past 15 years, I lived under a rock in a very, 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 very small town with a very small, narrow vision. So I don't know everything. So when speaking to Nicole, she shed some lights and some things that make me look at things differently. You bringing this up and telling me it's not, the industry is still the same, is what's going on.
in it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
pivoting on things. And I believe that social media is huge, right? So for
Mm-hmm.
marketing and things like that. But it's all around in the beginning stages of getting a little bit more in depth, raising that standard of hours, and be consistent across each state. So, um, and then partnering with, full brands and really setting that student up for success at graduation. But like you said, that's a whole, we could spend hours on that. I'm very passionate about education. I'm very passionate about selling through education that, like you said, it was life changing. You took your money from the light bill and put it, like, you believed in that product, you believed in that service, you
I
believed
know
that
what
you
I saw.
a lot of money, right?
I
So
know what I saw. I was like, I'm not promoting this. Please pay your bills. However, I had no business with two little kids and a single mom doing that. Going and just taking, I think it was like 400 and something dollars, taking it and just like pouring it down into, actually, I laughed after that. Like, I didn't even stay that night at the hotel because I couldn't afford it. I had put in all my money, you know? I went back to Vero Beach, and I remember what I saw is what I saw, and no one could like tell me, it's my experience. No one can change that. And I just drove my little happy butt down to the East Coast, where the humidity, it's like I would spend, and my hair was long, I would spend hours blow drying my hair, and all I needed to do was step outside. And that would be the end of it. I remember Gabe having he played football, little football, a flag football back then, and I always was like, that's my fun to do with him. And I remember at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, where practices were and games typically were, humidity in Florida on the East Coast on the beach, 150% humidity. And it likes to like drizzle and rain around that time of the evening. That's just kind of a normal thing. I remember everybody looking like this big, and I was flawless because I just had gotten a keratin and my hair was just perfect. And people were wondering, how is this happening? Because we know that you have not very nice hair, you have a bit of hair. And I remember that. And that was just easy sell. It was just easy sell. Back then, we didn't have social media. We didn't have social media. So we had us to represent the industry. That's why I always dress nice and always look the part and always played the role. And that's why that's a whole other TV show on how I feel so strongly about people crawling out of their beds and going to go do hair. Like I can't handle that. It's the beauty industry for a reason. You can't go into your pajamas into the salon, but okay, coming back. Like that's why the beauty industry to me was so important because all we had it was that image and we had the clients that will give us references, right? Like the referrals, like, oh, she did a great hair. She did this, that, and the other. Or us just going in from door to door, handing over flyers or goodies or a business card, right? That's what we had. We had a tough. So we had what we could show, and I could show that I had a smoothing treatment that was working, and I was going to invest that money and take a leap of faith. 19 years. I don't know how to do math, but I'm glad that you said it was 19 years because I didn't know. I just said 2007. Uh, I can't hear you.
Feels like yesterday, right?
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
smoothing treatments launched and a total game changer for the industry. And it took smoothing treatments took the industry by storm. So again, can make a ton of money and be life changing in the front and the back. And when I say the front and the back, I mean the consumer sitting in the chair and the stylist and salon owner. So um, it's unbelievable. And like you said, the representation of yourself, right? You're marketing yourself, standing behind the chair, and that consultation. And when you said no, we had zero, absolutely no marketing platform socially, right? So, I had to break out that digital picture frame. And you know what? And not that I'm dating myself, but I feel like it's not bad to bring that back for that stylist to be able to have that connection with the consumer, and the consumer is actually looking at the station versus looking
At their
down on
cell
the
phone.
phone.
Building
So
that rapport is so important. I have a little question here. Sales, is it a skill or a personality trait?
I feel it's a little bit of both. I feel like it's a little
Mhm.
bit of both. Only I say that because after I graduated beauty school and got my license and I'm out in the field working and behind the chair, not knowing at the time how important it was to sell retail as I step out and I'm on this side of things now, right? So it's stronger. Obviously, my sales ability and skill set is a lot stronger than back when I first graduated, and it is a little bit of a trait too, right? In your personality. Some stylists are really bubbly and outgoing, and then you have stylists that are quiet. And then they say you attract the clients that
Yeah,
gravitate towards you. I love to
I
cut.
agree. Yeah,
I cut a lot of short hair. You have
yeah.
client personalities gravitate towards, so it's a little bit of both, I feel. And yeah, could agree, right? In the beginning, from when you first started off until now, with all your success as a school owner, a salon owner, right? And you look back at yourself when you first graduated. Um, I know that you agree. Yeah.
Yes. I also I've okay, I'm from the Bronx, New York. And I don't know if it's a New York thing, but you are like very young, a hustler. So my mom told me, my mom's Dominican mother, what are you doing dancing and because I was a professional dancer and I used to do models and photo shoots and stuff like that. I was very much into the modeling and all that. You need to find yourself a job. This whole dancing thing that you gotta go find yourself a job. Okay, cool. I found myself a job with my mom's best friend, Julia. Julia was my mentor. She owned a hair salon. I will leave school, high school, and I will go to her salon and work all week long for $30. I remember her being in the salon and having a bunch of merchandise and not selling it, collecting dust. I was like, can I take this merchandise and how much you bought for it? And I'll give you a percentage of it if you let me take it and I sell it. And she's like, ah, yeah, llévatela, que no quiero. I don't want it. Llévatela, que it's just collecting dust. So I will go to high school with 2 bags, my backpack, and 2 bags in my hands. And I will go into the lunchroom early in the morning for breakfast. And I had like a store in the lunchroom where people will come in and look at stuff and do layaway plans for my classmates.
Hustling, hustling. Crazy.
And I would sell stuff. And if any of my classmates remember that, please just make your comments when this podcast come on live. And I used to sell merchandise and then I would profit from her stuff that she invested in and give her very little money because she didn't care about it. And that's how I learned, like I learned to hustle from then. And that's how I learned how to do hair. So to me, it was different. So by the time I made it to cosmetology schools are, I'm sorry, I don't want anybody to take offense, but it's a shit show. It's very a difficult side of the industry. And I remember I had 12 instructors. I was there for 12 months. I had 12 instructors. Every month there was somebody new. And I wasn't focusing, oh my God, there's trust at this school is hurting my life. No, I wasn't focused on that. I knew that this stylist knew something that the other stylist didn't know, and I was going to learn it. And that was my mentality. And I will hustle clients and I will hustle people. And I was always booked. I was always booked because I was hustling. I was building a clientele, but that is like, guys, it's something that comes from, I think, growing up where I grew up at. But I don't know I don't know that that's something, there's a conversation for everybody or everybody has that about them. You know, you can't compare me maybe living in a very small town in the north or whatever, where you don't have that, ability to. I mean, I opened a modeling agency in at 17 years old in the Bronx. It was the only modeling agency when I was 17 in the Bronx. And I was doing fashion shows. I was producing fashion shows and I was producing dancers and choreographies for bands and festivals to be backup dancers. So I don't know, right? Like I'm maybe the 1% of the people, but I feel that at the end of the day, us is a responsibility to educate the new generation of beauty professionals into learning how to sell for themselves and to be an asset for the industry, for the salon owner, for the client, for the growth of their career. You have to agree with that.
Agree. Yeah. The consistency of education when you get out and the structure of selling, right? It starts when that customer walks through the door, right? The best customer service. You're doing the best customer service, offer them a beverage. When it's time for them to sit in your chair, right? Consultation, right?
Consultation, key.
And start off right then and there from the shampoo bowl of what you're using, why you're using it, back to the chair, doing the styling and why are you using it. And you are the professional, right? The stylist is the professional and that consumer leans on you, right? To guide them in what's the best for their hair. Like it's a script,
Exactly.
You're writing a script and you're just lead them up to the cash wrap, the checkout, have the products waiting there. This is what we use today. which 3 are you going home with, or whatever it may be, and just be consistent. And, salons offering that education to the staff to help them with that strong sense of skills, just repetitively, right? So the more often you do something, the better you're going to become. The more often you have education to hear that over
The
and
more
over.
natural it comes out. I'm gonna put you a test here because I already said what I said about the brand. But as like if you can take yourself outside of your role in Keratin Complex and just be a stylist or be a salon owner for a second, what true brand loyalty should look like? What would it take for you to say, I am a salon owner and a stylist? This is what I expect. This is what I should receive. This is what I should demand of a brand, if you can demand of a brand. Because, at the end of the day, we are the salon. At the end of the day, we do hold a very strong value. So what should I expect? Without you, without me, you're not a brand if I don't consume you. So what should I get?
It looks, if I was behind the chair, and hypothetically, if I was a salon owner, be completely honest with me as a brand. I'm just going to start off. This is just in general sales 101. Just be honest. Have I ever led you down the wrong path? Did I say, ooh, maybe not that? I suggest this, right? Kind of thing that's going to help. I feel being completely 100% honest and transparent is going to get you so much further, right? So starting off, you have to have that partnership of completely being honest with one another, right? Then you go into the purchase, you make the purchase, but you want to, I don't necessarily mean handhold, but be there for every step. Setting the stage, setting the, from back to front. When I say back, the services up in the back room to the retail up front, getting that education lined up, getting those incentives lined up. I would expect as a salon owner that brand, not necessarily handhold, but is available for me if I have a question or a concern. And then also to help support with that marketing. I'm not saying you have to do my social media. I'm not saying you have to do my website, but what does that look like? A lot of times in my travels and in my position, I feel that everyone knows about social media, and there's a lot that don't know about social media and how to market. So I feel that taking the time as a brand, can you help me? How can I get stronger with my marketing? Because it's only going to turn and sell more
Into profit.
services. Yeah, and more profit. So it's really, if I could just round it all out, just be, and I have to lay out my expectations to that brand, right? That brand's not a mind reader, right? And, come with your wish list. I'm going to come, if I was a salon owner, which I'm not, this is just my
That's some make and believe. Yeah, that's your opinion that I'm asking for. If you were.
If I was a salon owner, I would say, this is my wish list. This is my Christmas list. This is my wish list, and this is what I'm coming to you. I find that would be, my salon would have success if we could do X, Y, Z. Because a brand's not a mind reader, and success looks different for everyone, whether you're on the brand side or you're on the stylist or salon owner side. So just be honest, right? Just be completely.
From the gate.
Yeah.
I was like brutally. I was brutal. I was like, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is how I want it. And you were like, okay, we worked out some numbers. It took us a few days back and forth, and there it was. It was. That's just what it is. But also you were able to tell me, I can't do that, but I can do this.
Yes, I wasn't going to
sell me a dream just so you can get me and then
Yeah,
piss me off when you were not delivering what.
I
No,
wasn't
nobody wants
doing,
that. No, exactly.
I
Mm-mm.
wasn't going to embellish my what I could give you and support you with the brand. That, like, I wasn't going to, say yes and then all of a sudden I'll pretend no, right?
Pretend
So
no. Let's see. Partnerships. What do you think works versus what fails? What separates a strong salon brand partnership from a transactional one? What are common mistakes salons make when working with a brand? And what is, in your opinion, a core and common mistake that school owners make when it comes to brand partnerships? What makes a partnership like whole? Like aligned versus forced. And you have to be careful because this is only your opinion again, and nobody can hold her hostage for her opinion. She has been around the moon, like I said about Nicole, for a long time when it comes to the industry. And you travel through the country looking at salons and meeting with school owners, and you have your opinions, and I care about them.
it's complete 100% communication, right? You don't always have to be aligned on the same page with opinions and things, but as long as you come together and meet on that even platform, whether it be education, sales, or marketing, I think it goes hand in hand. How do you feel?
I think communication. Yeah, communication. And and I don't know. I can only speak for mine. I'm sure that I was for what I used, not for mine, because what I used to do, right? What I cared about. As a salon owner, I understood it because I remember struggling not having staffing because everyone that would come in was so fresh out of cosmetology school, was so raw. I literally felt like I would have to teach everything all over again. And I was not in the business for that when I was trying to survive as a stylist with a full book and all that stuff. So to me, when I chose to have the school, then I wanted to do it in a way that it will serve the purpose of growth and benefit for a salon. So the salon would immediately have someone that all they had to do was mold, polish, and build the education, but you can actually put to work and for themselves. So they wouldn't have to go and have a second job because that happens a lot. We have to be honest. It happens a lot. This instability with the paycheck is a real thing. So teach salon and schools to have one line and provide them with the actual cushioning and foundation so they can actually thrive. It's what makes sense because it makes sense for your clinical floor and it makes sense for them in their future. Not bam bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, and open to be open of learning new things, whether it be from school to the staff,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
willing to, I don't want to say the word compromise because that's not it, but just
No.
willing to grow. If you're willing to grow and absorb and learn and implement, you will become successful and a lot further.
Yeah, and this is like it brings me to that, yeah, it brings me to the next question of product performance and professional standards. So, how does working with a high quality product impact a stylist confidence and the results? It's everything.
I agree. I agree. It gives them the confidence, the reassurance that the product performs, right? Um, and the result and the standard set. Definitely, you have to have that confidence, right? loving it in your own hair, right? Being able to do, let's say, instance, color or treatments or aftercare products, having them in your own hair, using them helps build that confidence too, not just learning about them, right? And having that education
Yes.
gives it that and speaks, it it helps, I should say, your delivery with explaining and selling through the service
Mhm.
for aftercare a lot easier.
Do you think the clients are paying attention as a client? So for example, product choice influence how clients perceive professionalism? Does it impact your ticket at the register? I believe so.
Yeah, yeah. I I feel, and myself as a consumer, right? I and as a stylist and working in a salon, I notice things, right? Sitting in the salon, right? I feel, and I can speak from the salons that I worked at in the programs put in place, right? Not just the selling of product or the programs to help your skill become stronger. It's the all around cleanliness. It's an image
Mm-hmm.
in the beauty industry. And then also to, um, consultation, communication, like I said, with the communication, you're on the same page as the consumer, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you were sitting in my chair, I want to, what are your challenges? What don't you like? What would you like to see? And then I provide you the solution. And I feel that all around a consumer's looking for that, right? A consumer's looking for a consultation. They're looking for the whole part of beauty, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? But the whole look, and also to the cleanliness, right?
Mm-hmm. The cleanliness, your presentation. You can't tell me that you can build a successful, thriving, beautiful business when you drank all night last night, you crawled out of bed this morning, you put your hair in a bun, you're wearing some raggedy bleached leggings, some Ugg boots, and a hoodie, and I have to give you $600 for my hair and smell you the entire time. It's a beauty industry for a reason. I want to feel beautiful. I just recently went and got my hair done here in town because it's easier for me. And uh I just met a young lady, 21 years old, professional. I was blown away. Um, Looked beautiful, was clean, was diligent, sold me product that I didn't go in to buy. Yes, it smells great. Yes, it makes my hair shiny. But her whole delivery from A to Z was intended to sell me that product, and I bought every single one of them. She understands the assignment. You don't have to have an age group. It's just your determination to build the career that you feel that you deserve to have, and not the entitlement of having. You actually are putting in the work. You're coming into work presentable, you're dressed nicely, you smell good, you're being professional, you're giving a thorough consultation, you're communicating every step of the way, you're showing me and demonstrating me the products and da, 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 da. And what does silly girl do? Silly bought everything. From the body soap to the hand cream to the shampoo to the conditioner to the treatment. And guess who is happy? Me. And they do keratin smoothing treatments and everything, which is one of the reasons why I booked, because in the future, that's what's going to be. I need a place here that is quick for me to go and get my hair done. It's a circle. She or whomever trained her, right? Or asked her career has developed, she's learned that that's her paycheck. From A to Z is her paycheck.
Yeah, the importance, the livelihood, right? She spent the time, she spent the money. Um, she knew the career she wanted to get into, I'm assuming, right? With all the
No, she's
success.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's confident in that, and she looked the part. She didn't look like she just crawled out of a hole. You know, she understands the beauty industry, so she has to represent the beauty industry, and she did. You know, actually, every young lady that was there looked very nice and was there presentable, working their butts off. Um, and we're getting closer to our end of our thingamajigger here. What do you think? What do you think? It's a message that you can give that new generation, or even the generation that has been at it for a few years. What can you say to the young generation that it really can like stick in their mind, that they can actually apply and move forward in whichever direction they choose, either being behind the chair or being in your field, or growing into your becoming of being the director of a brand?
Never stop learning. Never stop learning. Just when you think, hey, I'm not behind the chair. I do work for a brand, but so many things are constantly changing, evolving, not just in our industry, but if you wanted to keep it to our industry, be open in learning. Things have evolved, things have changed. Knowledge is power. The more you learn, it pushes and things you want to do and try new things, pushes you out of your comfort zone, right? That's where you learn the most.
What about for a seasoned stylist? People in our age group.
Be open to trying new things, right? Sometimes even myself, I feel like I'm set in my ways and, oh no, I don't want to do that or try that, or this is what happened when I did this or that.
Yes.
Give it a try. Just try it, right? Try it. I hear a lot, I don't have clients for that, or just in general, right? My clients, I haven't met one person in the history of me being in this beauty industry that said, I love my frizz. I want to embrace my frizz, right? So
Yeah.
be open to trying new things as a stylist, as a student, try new services, and you'd be pleasantly surprised.
Believe it or not, I had a lady one time. I had a cancellation. It was a Saturday, and he was like, I was booked for like 4 hours or so, and somebody walked in. I owned the salon. This is when I owned the salon. Somebody walked in. She was from North Carolina, a short lady. I'm gonna say late 40s, probably early 50s. Um, Very long, curly, frizzy ginger hair. I love gingers. That's why I'm always in the pictures of like, look at this redhead. Um, and she came in and I gave her hair color and I gave her, I think, a little bit of highlights, and I kind of like touched up her grays with her ginger, like kind of just to blend it in. And I convinced her to get a keratin smoothing treatment. It is the only human being in my longevity of career of doing smoothing treatments that she became my client, but I never did a keratin on her again. She hated it.
That's so
Isn't that
crazy to
crazy?
me.
But you will have that, right? She did not, she wanted, and that reminded me because you said, that some people may not, whatever. Exactly. She wanted her hair to be frizzy. She wanted her hair poofy and frizzy. And then there's me. I start twitching when my hair starts freezing up. Like, no. Like I was looking rough here for a few months because I had
That's
not
the
been able to find a
first.
place. Huh?
That's the first I ever heard someone say that. So,
Yeah.
um,
And I will never, I always, and she was my client for a few years, and I would do all the treatments to kind of keep her hair like, manageable. It was the only time that I would blow dry her hair was when she would come in. Other than that, she was always wearing a curly and stuff like that. But yeah, she did it. We never did a keratin smoothing, but I mean, like you have to realize out of how many humans that I have done keratin smoothing treatments throughout the years. Like when I went to your friend Jerry to do my keratin, he did a beautiful, amazing keratin. I love it. I'm so happy. I have it. I look like a chupacabra with hair. What's everywhere? I was like, I couldn't handle this anymore. Did a beautiful job. How many places did I call that don't do the specific keratin smoothing treatment? And I'd be like, Yolanda, there's this keratin from this brand and this keratin from this brand. Like, girl, don't do it because you're used to doing this thing, and if you do something else, you're not gonna be happy. Don't do it. Yeah, and I didn't, and I until I was able to get my keratin treatment done by him, and it was flawless, beautiful, spectacular. So then you have that. You have people that are like so loyal to the outcome of what it is. Then you have the other ones that don't. Anyways, I don't know how we just detoured, but we detoured. Um, the seasoned stylist. I recently met a lady that referred me. My mom's in a nursing home, and there's this Cuban lady that told me, "Oh, you gotta go see my lady." And I'm like, "Okay." So I go visit her to talk to her because she's near where I live and near mom's nursing home. She told me, oh, I showed her a picture of kind of what I wanted. And she said, oh, I don't know. I'm going to have to blow dry your hair. I'm going to have to style your hair and see if I can recognize how the strands of your hair doing and see how strong your strands are and see how this and she gave me like this whole thing. She didn't know I was a stylist, right? A cosmetologist for 30 something years. She's just giving me this whole reason of excuses on why she was not going to do my hair. And you know why? It's because she didn't know how to do those techniques.
knowledge, like round it out, like bring it full circle, is just stay open to learning new things.
Learning new things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she made all kinds of excuses on why not, which was fine. It was just me listening to her and being a seasoned stylist and the seasoned stylist not wanting to come with the new era of all this open to continue their education and the expansion and just being stagnant in an era, in a time, in a place, is a big deal. How do you want to conclude this amazing meeting that we have had today?
Well,
Do
I
you
feel
realize? Do you realize how many hours do we spend on the phone sometimes talking about how we're fixing the world and we now have a place to fix the world and we're here fixing the world one opinion at a
hopefully,
time?
yeah, hopefully we inspired, relatable to people that are going to be watching this. And, it's perception's reality, right? So just rounding out, and I want to see more stylists, students open to learning and never quit. And
Open
for
to
you,
learning.
right? I learned from you, you learned from me, and knowledge is power. And offering new services if you don't, expanding into that, live in the uncomfortable because that's going to help you succeed, right? Learning new things, feeling uncomfortable.
Speaking about that, I'll take that. So, been in the industry how many years? 35 this June. Um, Did I think when I was in the salon and my mom's best friend's hair salon that I was going to be a cosmetologist and that was going to be my career? Absolutely not. That was not what I was going to do for my life. But my mom in Florida, after we had moved, told me, if you want to stop struggling, you go get your actual license. Stop doing it in the house. Go get your license. How many years later? Owned a salon for 17 years, made tons of money, raised my children, had a house, had vehicles, had business, had lived. I just lived. They had everything. because of this career. That's just what it is. And then I always had a bug to open a cosmetology school. I did that. I'm 50. I don't, thankfully, thank God, I'm retired and I don't have to like work. But I know who I am and I am a career woman, so I'm always going to be doing something. But now I get to do what I want. And at 50, I am learning to become, and I am becoming a different person. I am reinventing myself in the way that I choose to, still utilizing the knowledge and experience that I have gained in this industry and trying to help and shed light at some things and trying to alert people that we can do better and be better if we just kind of like, I never thought about things like that. Because conversating with you, conversating with Nicole, conversating with other people, you become in aha moments and you're like, oh, wow, yeah, that's a great way of looking at things. Continue to educate yourself and evolve and grow and expand and continue to become. It doesn't matter what age you're in. I'm 50 in a week and a few days. And here I am starting from zero in a new journey, evolving in a new way, in a new career that who knows where it's going to lead to. I don't have any expectations, but continue to grow and being open for learning and being open for growth. And I'm glad that you said that because actually this is what's led us to here right now. And I love that.
Absolutely. Yes. Great message. Thank you so much for inviting me on today.
Thank you for accepting being a part of the journey.
Absolutely. And look forward to connecting more down the road.
Have new with other topics.
Yeah, other topics to talk and just.
There's so many of them.
Yes.
We need to join more people so we can actually have like conversation, like we do a Latin style. Everybody talks over everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining us at the Rummor Room. I hope that your host Spanglish wasn't too bad today. It is cloudy, so the signal may not be coming in through right. Thank you, Yolanda, so much. I appreciate all of you, not just as a professional, but you were in my life in a very defining time when I was going through learning how to operate a cosmetology school and wanting to give everything to my students. And you did that for me. Thank you. Everybody, I hope you enjoy. I hope you continue to join us. I hope you continue to be a part of this journey with me. I'm your host, Leticia Kirkwood from the Rummor Room. Thank you so much. Mwah. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Listen close. Welcome to the Rummor Room.